Right now, I want to welcome to the program from Rick's Farm Academy of Detroit, Mr. Rick Ector joins us. Rick, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Cam, I am great, buddy. How about yourself? How are you today?
I am good and glad you can spend a few minutes with us. We've been talking with and about the chief of police there in Detroit, James Craig, recently celebrated a year on the job. Rick, I mean, he's come out in favor of people exercising their right to keep bear arms. He likes the idea of law-abiding citizens being able to defend themselves. He supports people becoming concealed carry holders. And, coincidence or not, Rick, crime is down in Detroit over the past year, and it's down quite a bit in a lot of categories.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, I don't think that we could attribute it to a coincidence. I've never been a big fan of coincidences, but when you look at what we got reported drops of 37% in robberies, 22% in break-ins, 30% in carjackings, I mean, I don't think that that's coincidental. I do appreciate the fact that Chief Craig did attribute I'm not going to say most, but did attribute, some of those decreases into the working environment that lawfully armed citizens in Detroit have created for bad guys here in Detroit. And, it's a great thing. Citizens have responded. The word has gotten out onto the street that people are actually armed and not only willing to defend themselves, but they have proven that they will do so. We've seen some compelling video and some really courageous stories come out of Detroit over the past year. And I'm very happy for my citizens, and I'm very glad and fortunate that we've had a police chief uncharacteristically give us his support.
I'll give you some statistics here. 37% fewer robberies this year than compared to the same time period last year. 22% fewer break-ins of businesses and homes. 30% fewer carjackings. Carjackings, I know this is something that the chief has specifically worked on, Rick. Last time we had the opportunity to talk with Chief Craig, he told us that this is something he's really proud of because he said, when he got to Detroit, there was this, again, almost, I don't want to say people were okay with it, but people had become far too used to the idea of carjackings just being one of those things that comes with living in Detroit.
When I looked at the stats at the end of year last year for 2013, man, we were averaging 1.97. Let's just call it two carjackings per day. And, it has been going on for quite some time. And it's just one of those things, not only carjackings, but robberies and break-ins. But, yeah, you know what, in a way, you can say that sometimes we are a bit numb here, having experienced a lot of violent crime here for far too long. But we've definitely have seen the light. Citizens are responding. They're getting carry permits. They're carrying wherever they may legally do so. They're having firearms in their homes, and they're quite prepared to defend themselves. So, man, I'm just ecstatic, and hopefully, we can continue and keep this thing going. Our crime on a per capita rate is still, very high for a city of only 700,000. But hopefully, the chief, will still be retained, by the incoming administration, and hopefully he'll still be here.
What would you say? I know we've got the that group that appears to consist of one guy who complains that the chief is way too pro-gun, way too pro-concealed carry. But what are the people that you talk to, Rick? What do they think about Chief Craig?
Man, the people that I've talked to, man, they're ecstatic. They're thrilled to have a guy here in the city of Detroit who is apparently doing some great things for us. The biggest knock on him, I think, is people, they say, well, they see him on TV a lot, Chief Hollywood, but he's doing some great things. He's actually going out and looking for bad guys, known people, when he's getting complaints of drug dealing and places where, crimes are being committed, he's actually going in there and rooting these guys out. So being proactive on that front. And then on the other hand, he's actively encouraging people to defend themselves and telling them that they have a right to self-defense. good Americans with guns, that's us, the law-abiding folks who have jumped through all the hoops and have met all the requirements. We're responding. And, the word on the street is that we're very happy with the chief. He's like the seventh chief we've had in like 11, 12 years. Another case for keeping them would be some sense of continuity, not have somebody else come in here and then rechange everything, and someone who may not be so supportive of our right to defend ourselves.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably likely. I mean, what Chief Craig himself has said, one of the things that has allowed him to be able to speak his mind a little bit is that Detroit, because of the sheer dysfunction of the way the city was run for so long, it doesn't have a normal system of government. He doesn't have to worry about watching what he says or losing his job. Chief Craig has said that there are other big city police chiefs that he's talked to who feel the same way that he does, but they don't feel like they can actually come out and say that. They feel like they will be terminated if they speak their mind on this issue. But, one of the other things that I think we've got to touch on, Rick, is that this, again, you've got a long way to go in Detroit, as you say. It's not that Detroit has all of a sudden become Mayberry. But you have seen, again, significant drops in a lot of crime categories, and you haven't seen it because of new gun control laws. You haven't seen it really because of a lot of new laws going after criminals. I think a lot of this can be, again, attributed to better policing. But Chief Craig himself talks about that change in the community's attitude of, we don't have to accept this. We don't have to take this. It's that same attitude, honestly, just put forth in a different manner, I think, that we saw in Colorado, where they voted out these pro-gun control state senators. They said, we don't have to tolerate politicians who won't listen to us. There's something that we can do to stand up for ourselves. And it sounds like that's what the people of Detroit are doing when it comes to crime in their community. We don't have to tolerate this. We don't have to accept it, and we're not going to.
Yeah, I concur wholeheartedly. Nothing has changed. We know that new gun control laws will have the absolute opposite effect and make crime actually increase. What we have some leadership that's telling us that, hey, this is your city. Do what you can to protect yourselves and your families, and when we get there, we'll back you up and we support you enthusiastically. And the fact that people have responded, the response, people are actually doing that and defending themselves. And man, I must tell you, Jenny Simone did an awesome video when she came into Detroit a couple months ago. She put that together, and it really captured a resurgent, positive sense of pride that we have here, and that we're not going to tolerate crime, man. And next time you see her, tell her she did an awesome job with the video.
I will. Jenny's got me on the program Monday. Actually, she's got a brand new piece that you'll want to check out as well, talking about an armed citizen up in Vermont, Rick. So I will definitely pass that along to Jenny.
Absolutely. And if I could just plug a free event I'm doing here locally in Metro Detroit. I'm doing my annual free firearms training lesson for women. I've gotten so bold that I'm increasing the number of participants from the 100 ladies I trained last year. We're shooting for 250 this year. So I want to congratulate all of my supporters and people who are helping me put this together. But anybody who's interested in participating in Metro Detroit, search me out on the website and on social media, and we'd be glad to have them.
All right, Rick, thanks so much for coming on the program. Sure, we're always glad to have you, and look forward to doing this again soon.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. Give my regards to the rest of the guys.
I will. Rick Ector joins from Rick's Farm Academy of Detroit here on NRA News, Cam and Company.